41.
Okay.
So I had such a poor self-esteem, such low self-confidence, but yet I had such a drive to be somebody, to do something, to accomplish something in life. And so I literally studied everything I could study over the course of my life to learn how to have a good, healthy self-esteem, how to have self-confidence. I like to say how to have self-confidence that makes you unstoppable. Mm-hmm. No matter what your situation is, you can build self-confidence that makes you unstoppable.
Well, and I think that also depends on whether a person is optimistic or pessimistic.
Without a doubt.
You've got to be optimistic because, as you've said, as an entrepreneur, you can typically either make it or break it. Because if without the optimism, I guess, to basically realize that you can come back, most people would give up, and a pessimist would never even start.
Well, I know that this is not an easy pill to swallow, so to speak, for everyone, but I believe that the decision we make is our decision to make. We can choose to be optimistic or we can choose to be pessimistic. And when we make that decision, it can and will change your life. You have to choose to be optimistic.
Okay. We actually have a caller here, Barbara. Hello, Barbara. Hello, Barbara.
Yes, hi.
Hi, yes. You've got a question for Daryl.
Yeah, well, first of all, his story sounds like a great inspiration to so many of your listeners. My brother had a pretty debilitating accident in the construction industry about a year ago, and none of our family members can seem to bring him out of it. He used to be a strong man. He used to be able to pull the family together. Now he cannot rise above his very, very low self-esteem. So it's kind of cool that this is a topic today. And I was wondering if your author guest might have some advice.
It sounds like you've got the Super Bowl in the background there.
Why ever would you say that?
It's a little bit of background noise there.
Yeah, sorry.
Well,
go ahead.
I absolutely do have some thought on that. And, my question to you is, what did your brother, being in the construction industry, did he know his business very well?
Oh, my gosh. Let's just put it this way. Our phone at home was ringing day and night with, friends and family members saying, what do I do about this, Bob? What do I do about this part of my house? And he's always giving really good advice. Well, everybody knew he was in construction, so he was sort of the handyman that we all went to.
Well, one of the things that I've always chosen to do, I have actually had several different companies that I've started and grown over the years, and all of them were very different industries. So what I just knew that I needed to do for myself was I needed to educate the living daylights out of myself.
Okay.
And I needed to become what I consider an expert in whatever that industry was. And so that's why I asked the question, was your brother good at what he did?
Yeah, he was really good at what he did. In fact, that's what makes us all so sad, is that he can't seem to find a place in his new world.
So, my question for your brother is, if he was really good at what he did, I have a belief that if you will read for 1 hour a day on a subject, let's say the construction industry, you said he's already very knowledgeable. He already has been a go-to person, so to speak, if I could, kind of paraphrase what you said. So he already has established himself somewhat as an expert. So what about the idea that he continues to read for 1 hour a day and gets even more of an expert about what he did, and he becomes a consultant to the construction industry rather than physically, he doesn't have to physically do the work. He can be a consultant. I mean, how many young people out there every day need to learn more about what they're doing in the construction industry?
Well,
Wow, that's fantastic.
And in this day and age, you do not have the apprenticeship programs you used to have.
Absolutely.
Nobody can afford to do the training. And so, and I find that in our industries too, in mobility and in engineering, there just are not the opportunities for people to learn.
He seems like, because he has lost his mobility, he's lost his life, and that's a really excellent point, that he could become whatever he wants to be now. He doesn't have to lose the experiences he's had, but he can use them in a different way.
I mean, without a doubt, he's got experience. He just needs to change his mindset that he's not going to use his hands to do the work. He's going to use his mind to help others learn how to do the work.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to definitely give him that piece of advice. I appreciate it. And thanks for taking my call.
Well, thank you, Barbara, for your call. Well, in talking about, as a consultant too, construction management, although it's a degreed program, or it's not always a degreed program, but it can be a degreed program. It gives a person a chance to go back to school, and if they're part of a rehab program, or if it's part of workman's comp, there are programs available to help him get that schooling.
Well, just this morning, as you know, I live in the Phoenix area, and so I needed to come down because I was doing the couple of book signings today at the Bookman stores, and so I left at about 8 o'clock this morning, and I had the alarm set so that I'd get up. And this morning I was listening to a talk show, and there was a Veterans Affairs person on there talking about disabled veterans coming back to the state of Arizona, and he said that the legislature here in Arizona said, or they've put together a law that says any veteran that comes to the state of Arizona gets to go to an Arizona school at in-state rates, and that they have a number of programs available for continuing education for veterans.
No, and that's good, because a lot of that information is not known. Actually, it's time for our half-hour break, and we should probably go ahead and do that now. And we're interviewing Daryl Noak today, author of Mastering a Healthy Self-Image. We'll be back basically after these messages.
You're listening to Special Needs Lifestyle with Larry Finman, only on AM 1030, KVOI, The Voice. Call in now with your questions at 790-2040. That's 790-2040.
Hello, Tucson and Southern Arizona. We're back live with Special Needs Lifestyles right here on KVOI, AM 1030, The Voice. Give us a call at 790-2040, or if you're out of the area, it's 520-790-2040. Our guest today is Daryl Noak, author of Mastering a Healthy Self-Image, the guidebook to real happiness and enormous success. And we've been, before the break, we were talking about some of the benefits currently that Arizona is offering to vets that want to relocate to the state. And that let's just go over that again.
Okay. Well, they definitely were talking about the fact that even vets that were relocating to Arizona, but they made a point of saying that veterans that are here in Arizona, that there are significantly more educational programs than most of them understand. And they said, the gentleman that was on the talk show this morning in Phoenix said that that's his job, is to be outreach, so to speak, to help veterans know how much benefits that they do have available to them, so that they can continue to educate themselves.
Well, and we actually here, I think it's been maybe a year ago, we had the Disability Resource Center, one of the counselors on, and here at the University of Arizona. And they actually had just created a new group for returning veterans to help them, guide them through the benefit process, because there are a lot of benefits out there. Although some of the benefits that the vets get, they're holding back on the money. There's vets from World War II and beyond that are not getting their payments that they are entitled to, but the vets coming back now are receiving a lot of good re-education, and everything else. And so if you are a vet, you definitely want to look into it.
Well, one of the things that I like to talk about, I know that mobility is one of the things that you really specialize in.
Yes.
And that truly is a special need. But what about someone that comes back that is really had a rough time mentally? Mm-hmm. And I'm just using an example, and I'm not, I understand the philosophy of what we are doing or what we've done, but let's say that someone has come back and they've spent the last 5 years killing several people over in Iraq.
Sure. Or Afghanistan.
Wherever it may be.
Yes. Or the sniper who's, has been down in South America taking out
absolutely
undesirables.
Sometimes that creates a mental disability, and that mental disability. I remember hearing Zig Ziglar say 30 years ago that more people are in hospitals for emotional disturbances than physical difficulties. So, sometimes we have to address, people's mental health as well. It's okay for me to say, you and I were talking about that sometimes when we were living up in that northern country that not having the sun come out kind of makes you depressed after, winter is 9 months long, and by the end of winter you're getting depressed. They call it, cabin fever. And so, we really have to not only talk about physical disability and special needs, but we have to help people that have emotional disabilities also.
Sure. Well, but let's get back to the content of your book. We keep getting off track here a little bit. So, in, I guess, 5 minutes or thereabouts, give us, I guess, the short version of.
All right.
And then we can get into the longer version after the break.
Not a problem. My book is a guidebook on how to take your life from wherever you're at, change your attitude, and take yourself to wherever you want to go.
Okay. Because without changing your attitude or your approach, you're dead in the water.
Absolutely. You must change your attitude. If you're not an optimist, you must change your attitude if you're going to change where you're going to go in life. And prosperity is available to every one of us if we learn how to accept it and go after it and change our attitude and go for it.
And learn what we need to do in order to achieve it.
Years ago, back when I was really young and I was a smart aleck and I thought I knew everything, when you're 15, 16, 17.
Hey, you're the smartest man in the world.
I know it. And, I used to say that, all these old sayings in life, they're just old wives' tales and they're not for society today. Society has changed so much that those old sayings just they're not relevant anymore. Mm-hmm. And, now that I'm getting older, I believe that those old sayings are more relevant today than they ever have been.
Yeah, they probably are.
And, there's an old saying that knowledge is power. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have. Mm-hmm. The more knowledge you have, the more earning power you have. Knowledge is absolutely imperative if you want to ascend in life.
Oh, definitely. With the proper knowledge, a person is basically unstoppable.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, that you use that word, I am just about to start a book tour around the United States, and that is exactly what we're calling the book tour, the Unstoppable Book Tour. Mm. We're going to teach people how they can take their life and be unstoppable at anything they choose.
Very interesting. Now, you've got a couple of sayings here, basically, also that you'd like to reinforce about in order to help your self-image.
Well, one of the things that I knew, I had so much negative self-talk. You know, my dad had talked negative to me. My mother was a very positive and